Well, Michael Tshibangu is president of the Association for Development and Democracy in Congo, and he's joining us from Leicester in the UK via Skype. Thank you very much indeed for your time, sir. Is the bulk of this about President Joseph Kabila refusing to step down, or are there wider issues at play here now?
Well, there are wider issues at play. For example, the central government is very weak. Kabila has been in power for the past 17 years. Unfortunately, it has not been able to build up an army that can actually provide security for the people. So what we end up having is local people, community, they're forming what we call self-defense group and then fighting amongst each other. And on top of that, now we now have a political crisis where Joseph Kabila is out of term. His time expired in 2016. But unfortunately, he's still in power. So we have a legitimacy problem, and this is making the situation worse. For 17 years, he has failed, and now the political crisis. So the country is becoming weak, and the crisis almost in most parts of the country. There are problems in the east, a problem in the center of the country, in areas such as Kasai, and now you have problems in the southern of the country, in the Tanganyika area. That violence is actually getting worse in DRC.
Do we know any more about these new armed groups that the UN has been referring to, who have been joining the fighting that has been going on originally?
Well, these new groups, they usually come themselves Mai. These are local people, the local self-defense group. As obviously there's insecurity in that area, the government is virtually absent. So the local people are having to form the different militia groups, and they fight amongst themselves, and they're causing people to flee. And a lot of suffering. There's a lot of violence actually going in that part of the country. Rape, children being killed, village being burned down. So a lot of atrocity are being committed, unfortunately, in that part of the country.
Given the way that you're describing what's been happening in the country, and it sounds appalling, how bad could this get?
Unfortunately, things can get even worse. We are seeing the nature of the violence, actually. It's just unbelievable. They are killing their women who are pregnant. They take the baby out. Well, unbelievable. The things that are happening, I don't know how to describe them. And we're seeing that the situation is actually getting worse. So things are getting worse. It's important that perhaps they think about strategy to stop this from getting further. Otherwise, I don't know how they're going to cope, because the number of people that are displaced as a result of the conflict is just so high. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are having to leave the villages, and they go elsewhere, and they don't have food, they don't have shelters, and they're exposed to malnutrition and other diseases.
Given that this has expanded now from the issues surrounding President Joseph Kabila and has now expanded to wider issues, is it possible, do you think, for the country itself to solve this problem, or are we going to reach a tipping point where external forces may have to come in to try to contain the fighting?
Unfortunately, the country itself cannot solve the problem because the central government is weak. You have a leader that is illegitimate, an army that is also part of the problem, because where the army is deployed, they also commit atrocities. So you have militias that are killing, the army that is also killing the population. But we have a UN mission in DRC. We believe perhaps the UN should be more forceful and intervene and use and protect the population, because they are suffering at the hands of the government, but they're also suffering at the hands of the local militias.
President Tshibangu is president of the Association for Development and Democracy in Congo. Thank you very much indeed for your time, sir.
Thank you.